Well, some of the top track stars in North America are here for the Edmonton International Track Classic.
It's a world-class track and field event featuring Olympians, world champs, and newly crowned Canadian champs. And who better to help oversee the event than one of Canada's most celebrated athletes, retired sprinter Donovan Bailey.
I ran in Edmonton. Yeah. I retired in the semifinals. I took my shoes off. I've never put a pair of spikes on since then.
Really?
Canada's best ever sprinter ended his career right here at the Worlds in 2001. Donovan Bailey is a two-time Olympic champ, three-time world champion, and a world record holder. We haven't seen a male athlete of his ilk since he hung up the spikes. But Bailey believes that will soon change. He says there's an abundance of talent, better funding, and improved infrastructure. But the athletes need more exposure racing against the world's best. That's the idea behind the Edmonton Classic, part of the new National Track League, a 5-event series that will help determine the 2012 Olympic team. But Bailey adds that athletes also need to change their attitudes.
We need to have a hockey attitude in track and field, because when the hockey team leaves, it's goal. It doesn't matter. We want goal.
The Edmonton International Track Classic starts at 5:30 tomorrow at Foot Field. You'll have some new names to memorize once CFL regular season begins this weekend in Saskatchewan. The Eskimos roster has been completely overhauled after the club failed to make the playoffs for the third straight time in 5 seasons. Even the coaches and players have a hard time keeping track of all the new faces.
Kavis, have you done the count? How many new faces on offense and defense overall?
No, because I'm not concerned with that.
Tell me, you don't want to know.
No, for us, that was the plan going in.
There are at least 20 new players on the 46-man active roster to go along with the revamped coaching staff and the new GM. Rebuild is considered a dirty word around Commonwealth, but the Eskies say they're not as green as you think.
Yesterday, when there was a vote, we had 38 guys in the room that were 2 years or above. So we're not as young as people think. It's just that the percentage of change may scare some people.
Change is good, when you're having some up and down seasons. Sometimes change is good, just to kind of get in here and then shake things up.
Eskimos open the season in Regina on Sunday. The Hockey Hall of Fame announced its new class of inductees. The 4-player group includes a few former Flames and an Oiler killer. All-star goalie Ed Belfour will enter the Hall in his first year of eligibility. He stymied the Oilers for much of the late 90s during all those playoff matchups. Belfour, a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner, won a Stanley Cup with the Stars in 1999. Joining him is Big Joe Nieuwendyk, who is also a 2-time 50-goal scorer and won Cups with 3 different teams. Also entering the Hall is killer Doug Gilmour, who was passed over in his first 5 years of eligibility. He totaled over 1,400 points during his 20 seasons and won the Cup as a Flame. And finally, defenseman Mark Howe joins Dad in the Hall after 13-year wait. Over to Telus Field, where the Edmonton Capitals were hosting Maui in the first of 5 in a row. Maui up 1-0. Bottom of the second, Enrique Cruz knocks it deep. Tom Collaro makes it in for a tied game. Bottom third, Todd Linden. He pipes one and it's over the wall. That's a 2-run homer. Caps go up 3-1. Bottom fourth, Carlos Duncan fills the gap at third. He finds second. Cruz gets home. 4-1 Edmonton. The fourth seemed to be their inning. Now 5-1 when Matt Rogelstad gets Steve Brown and Alexander Francisco home. Edmonton up 7-1. Maui would make a comeback but wouldn't muster enough. Caps win 9-7. Game 2 of 5 tomorrow night at Telus Field at 7. He's a 15-year-old footballer with a bright future. Edmonton's Sali Jalali is back from the Under-17 World Cup in Mexico. Canada was eliminated after a scoreless draw against Rwanda, but Jalali scored our nation's first ever goal in the event, and it came against England.
5 or 6 players at Liverpool and captains on Chelsea, so there's going to be a lot of players that are be big.
So scoring a goal against England, that's probably even more significant.
Yeah, it's a great experience, great feeling. I'll never forget that moment.
The 2-2 draw against England was the highlight of the trip, and Jalali was front and center for that stunning goal by the Canadian keeper.
The center back that I was playing against was like, yeah, we're going to win this ball. Watch, I'm going to win this header over you. And we went up for the ball, and I looked back, and the ball was in the back of the net. And I just started smiling and went crazy.
Jalali says he's now looking for an agent and hopes to join a club over in Europe. He also has a new tattoo which says, "I'm living a dream I never want to wake up from." To the majors, Jays at home to the Pirates. Jose Bautista starting at third base instead of right field after a costly mistake Monday. Top of the fourth, 2-1 Pirates. Matt Diaz hits one to right center. Neither Jay takes it. Lyle Overbase scores. Jays still struggling in right. Bottom fourth, Toronto down 6-1. Bautista hammers a 2-run homer to left center, his 24th of the season, and he's back in the good books. Bottom seventh, Jays down 7-5. Edwin Encarnacion homers to left, his 5th of the year and 2nd home run of the night. Jays down by 1. Later in the 7th, 1 out, bases loaded. Adam Lind lines out to first. Lyle Overbase steps on the bag for the double play. Pirates get out of the bases loaded jam and go on to win 7-6. Some stormy weather disrupted play at Wimbledon this afternoon. Organizers rushed to close the retractable roof in time for this match between Maria Sharapova and Dominika Cibulkova. It's the quarterfinals, first set. Sharapova in the far court, up 3-1, hitting the swinging volley winner, wins the first set 6-1. Second set, Sharapova up 1-0, continuing to hit the ball deep cross court, then a backhand winner down the line. Later in the second, another break opportunity. Sharapova runs Cibulkova along the baseline, hits the forehand cross court. Sharapova wins 6-1, 6-1. And finally, there was a hot rumor making the rounds in curling circles over the last few weeks. There were rumblings that Randy Ferbey was bound for Russia. The former Brier and world champ was offered a job to coach over there. He thought about it for a few weeks, but ultimately turned them down.
It wasn't bad, but I had to move there for 3 or 4 months out of the year, and the wife can't do without me for 3 or 4 months, so that's why I'm home.
Honesty.
Blame it on the wife. That's not fair. We're back after the break.